Welcome back to Middle School Story Hour. Who's got the best dragons? We do.
Whichever one was drawn with the most amount of gel pens. Right. Hello, Chadley.
When you feel that you are ready to begin, please proceed to the newly reconstructed combat simulator. Hone your skills against these constructs so that we may stand together against Shinra.
Chadley's always out here now, so you can get whatever remaining things you need to get. I've cleaned him out. Cleaned this dude out.
I will be here if you
I
require
love that
anything else.
Chadley
At
is
all
making
times, I am
fights
remotely analyzing your
that are
combat
harder
data
than
and
anything in the
monitoring your
game.
progress.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know, destroying Shinra, that's hard, but you know what's really hard? Video games. Let's go, motherfucker. You're a badass.
So yeah, we've got one final fight to do that is so fucking hard.
Final Fightacy.
Final Fightacy. It is so goddamn hard. And we're gonna do a party composition we've never done before. Everybody but Cloud. No Cloud this time.
So Cloud and the dog are just gonna chat while their friends play video games. Mm-hmm. Chadley couldn't afford a fourth controller.
Not even a shitty Mad Cat one.
And Red can't, play. He doesn't have hands.
Yeah. So for Tifa, we've got the Purple Pain Glove. That's the critical hit based weapon. Lightning Elemental on attack. Some HP ups. Some stuff to make her block better. Some stuff to boost ATB gauges by doing commands repeatedly. She's also got the ATB boost materia, just in case needed just a bit more ATB to stagger something just in time. Parry, and also 2 luck up materia, 1 max and 1 almost max to make those critical hits happen even more. Then with Aerith, she's got the enchanted ring on so that when she puts buffs on people, they last longer. Mm-hmm. Because this final fight, if you don't use some buffs, you're probably dying very quickly. Yeah, aside from that, there's a couple different elements we need to bring in with us, mainly lightning and fire. We've got barrier on Magnify to protect everybody at once. We got some new enemies in this we're going to have to scan.
That sucks. That sucks.
It's only 1 new enemy, technically.
But it is still forcing you to bring that materia when you could have brought something that helps you fight it.
I hope for the next game that, like, assess becomes some type of skill everybody can learn instead of it being a materia. Because it basically takes up 1 slot the entire game. Yeah, Aerith also has fire and a max out elemental on her armor, so that fire attacks will heal her. And then Barrett, there's no way we can do the self-destruct strategy here. He would just die constantly. He's going to be a backup healer with just the normal healing materia, using the EKG cannon to give him some decent magic, some higher MP. Still keeping his HP up pretty high with an HP up. Lightning on an MP absorb. And yeah, he's just kind of going to be backup support a lot of the time. He's not going to be a huge damage dealer during this.
I mean, he will be huge.
He will be huge, but... and he's bringing Carbuncle along with him. This is a really useful summon for this one.
Yo, he scratched that noggin.
Tiny little guy.
Top-heavy little fella. Very unstable.
Yeah.
Strong necks on those things.
It's a miracle he can walk. And yeah, of course, everyone's got revival materia as well. He's also got the healing necklace on so that he can heal a bit better since he doesn't have the greatest magic stat. Okay, so the final arena and the hardest fight in the game is the 3-person team versus Top Secrets.
Ooh.
This is 5 fights in a row with a reward called the German word Götterdämmerung? Ragnarok, I believe, is that what that means?
No, you're getting the opera.
Oh, yeah. So this is going to be 5 fights in a row where we fight every single summon back to back.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And 1 brand new enemy as well. And these are harder versions of the summons. This is so fucking hard, dude. Yeah, Barret, a lot of the time, is going to start off first action of the fight just using Overcharge to get just barely enough ATB to give Tifa haste.
Come on, watch yourself!
Yes, it's my turn!
Because Tifa's going to be, like, as usual, the main damage dealer here. Shiva is one of the few bosses in the game that you can kill before she enters her second phase. Most bosses have like a protection against that where like it'll go like, no, you've done too much damage, they're going to their second phase now. Here you can just annihilate her if you do it right. Basically we just got to get Tifa and Aerith with haste on them, and then we have to get everybody with full ATB so that Aerith can get the arcane ward out, double hit Shiva with fire to pressure her, and then we get both Barret and Tifa to stagger her like super quickly.
Yes.
It's your turn. All set. Think fast.
And now we switch back over to Barret again. He still has an overcharge, which gives us just barely enough ATB to hit Shiva with the stop spell. She's the only summon that can be stopped, which also means her stagger gauge just freezes in place.
If she's the only summon that can be stopped, you know what that means.
What's that?
Fat Chocobo cannot be stopped.
Oh, shit. And so, yeah, with Tifa hasted up, we can use her True Strike punches to increase stagger, and then also her special skills to increase stagger even more. So she was at like 270% or something by the time she got taken out. But Fat Chocobo, no stopping him.
I'm counting on you!
Don't think you'll walk away. Watch yourself. I'll show you what I can do.
And yeah, a lot of these
What
fights...
if the Chocobo's not that fat? What if it's all feathers?
Oh... what if Fat Chocobo took a bath? Would he be like a fluffy cat that gets all sad and tiny looking?
Like, Tifa's kicking, but she's not hitting anything because her legs aren't long enough.
Yeah.
So it's my turn?
It's almost like armor. He's just got a big head. Big head, skinny body. He's really tall.
He's just a stick figure under all that. It's all feathers.
Yeah.
Here goes. Still here. It's your turn.
Need my help, do you?
So for basically all these fights, early on I try to get Aerith to summon the friendly familiar, the little butterfly that shoots extra shots, because that butterfly can actually sometimes makes the difference between killing an enemy while they're staggered and them getting back up and making the fight way worse for you. Also, Fat Chocobo stays staggered for a very long time, so with Tifa constantly using stagger-increasing moves, we can get his stagger percentage over 300%!
Hooray! There it is.
Yep.
Well, there it was. But
Yep.
still, it was nice.
So, like, in the previous Fat Chocobo fight, the Moogles throwing the bombs sometimes summon other little enemies to fight you. Sometimes now, Tunberries pop out of there, and they're Tunberries that do have their instant kill moves ready. So sometimes you might be super distracted just punching Fat Chocobo in the butt while he's staggered, and then suddenly you just keel over dead. Because a tiny little guy walked around the side of this wide bird and stabbed you.
I read about that in the news every single day.
It's a tragedy.
It happens way more often than you'd think.
Yep.
See you around.
I'm just trying to remember the order. Is it Leviathan next?
Yep.
No. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, Shiva and Fat Chocobo they're tough, but they're pretty manageable. Once you get to Leviathan, it really picks up in difficulty. Part of it is just because Leviathan there's no super good strategy for staggering him. Like, Tifa's got the lightning elemental punches, and that helps.
Have you tried speaking politely?
No.
There you go.
Okay.
That's why the pray spell is so important. This is someone's god, after all.
It's, maybe it's because I keep the microphone on my PlayStation 5 controller muted that it doesn't hear me talk, so... It's like the first Zelda, where you had to talk into the controller and make the Pole's voice enemies die, or whatever. So yeah, like, you can hit with lightning spells, and that helps with its stagger meter a little bit, but really you just gotta hit it a lot and hope you get lucky and it gets pressured, which seems to be a bit of a random factor based on how much damage it's getting. From Leviathan on, this fight gets more difficult because Aerith, her defense and health is low. And so it's pretty easy for her to get, like, three-shotted by some enemies.
It becomes more and more of a factor as you get deeper in.
Yeah. And that's the main reason why I make Barret a backup healer, because he can heal with just one ATB gauge if Aerith is really in trouble. One strategy that makes Leviathan easier, though, make sure everybody's really close to him, because all of his attacks are super easy to avoid if you're close. And that's why a lot of his attacks also push you away from him.
You're up!
Come on, you can do it! One more shot!
Leviathan still looks so cool.
He looks great, man. I wonder, like I mentioned before in the first time we fought Leviathan that he was like one of the tech demo pieces for the original game, and I wonder if he got extra care just because he was such a big part of making the original game look cool to people.
I think it's because he's just the coolest dragon. I know some people in 6th grade who would agree with me.
Well, if you told that to 6th grade me, I would be like, fair enough. It's an answer I would accept.
It's on you.
Alright! Watch and learn!
Go on!
Ooh, gotta love it!
And like, you know, I practiced this fight a couple of times just because it's been a while since I had played this game, but this second phase here, I've never been able to find a good way to speed it up. Because it's like Tifa can reach the other weak points on Leviathan whenever it gets a little bit lower to the ground, she can jump up and reach it, but like, even with lightning spells, it just takes a while to fill up its stagger meter. And the fucking tornadoes making... constantly accidentally shooting at the tornadoes and having them blocked by attacks. It is possible to actually kill Leviathan before it goes to its second phase, but you really got to have like a limit break ready.
A lot of things got to line up for you.
Yeah.
Tagging out! Stay back!
Also, I'm saving my summon because even though, you know, usually you can summon once per fight, but for these arena fights, you can only summon once per arena. So you gotta really choose which of the 5 fights you want to use your summon for.
Which one is weak to Tiny Puppy?
Yeah.
Coming at you hard and fast!
And I was hoping to get like a cool finish on Leviathan here, but I kind of just pelted it with tiny bullets until it kind of anticlimactically fell out of the sky. There it goes.
If it works, it works.
Yeah.
You're safe.
So Bahamut is kind of the thing that ruins people's runs.
Yes, yes.
He is a fucking nightmare. Even when you know the trick.
Nightmare is a different monster. I know that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'll take care of
Like
it.
even when you know the trick of like managing his aggro by constantly switching whenever he locks onto a new person. It's still really rough.
You're up.
Okay, let's go.
Bahamut's also the one summon that gets some new attacks as well, which is we'll see that soon. Also, the damage threshold for pressuring him while he's charging up is way higher.
I love the pained tone of voice, and we'll see that soon. This is pre-recorded. You know that you're gonna win or not at the end. There's no tension.
There's a
I'll take care of you.
I'm not gonna call it a fucking trauma, but man, there is a nasty fucking surprise in this fight that sits with me still from the first time I was trying to complete this. That's like, it's messed up.
You can do it. Let me handle
But yeah, this is definitely something where, even if we were doing the rest of the Let's Play live, I would have had to pre-record this because I fucked up like 5 times before I got it right. This is what I was recording just earlier this afternoon.
this. This one's for you. It's your turn.
Need my help, do you?
And thankfully, even if, because, you know, between each fight you get half of your health and MP restored, but even if Aerith is low, she's still got the Soul Drain move. So she still has a really easy way to get MP back for free, essentially.
Okay.
Bring it home.
Okay, let's go. There.
Check out this shit right here.
There's no other down. Get him.
Imagine how unstoppable Tifa would be if she didn't have to do that psych up bounce before Star Shower.
If she could just zip around instantly, no startup.
But also how kind of badass it is that she's like, yeah, I'm standing underneath the ass of the King of Dragons, but I'm still gonna do this my way.
Yeah.
Don't let him stop us. Lend me your strength. You've got this. Let me handle it. Go on.
Wait, we haven't fought Ifrit. Is Ifrit the end?
So Ifrit you get from Jesse as a free summon, you never fight him.
Oh, that's right, you never fight Ifrit.
Yeah.
You're up.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Which is a shame. I would have liked to fight it to
Yeah. I mean, that's the
fought
sort of
Ifrit.
thing that I'm sure, even as a player, I'd be thinking, like, oh, is this how they squeezed in an Ifrit fight
Right.
in this secret Coliseum?
Yeah. And of course, you can fill the pressure gauge a lot faster if you're animation canceling with Tifa's parry slide, as usual. So I mentioned that this fight has some really fucking nasty surprises in it, and once you get Bahamut to half of his health, you might suddenly notice, wait, why is he charging up? This is a different charge-up animation, and guess what? He fucking summons Ifrit.
Ah, yes! Yes!
God, the first time I was playing this, I was like, oh, after dying to Bahamut a few times, I got him halfway. It's like, okay, I'm making really good progress. This feels like the run. And then he just stops and boop, here's Ifrit out of fucking nowhere.
They're roommates, aren't they?
Yeah, they totally
God
are.
damn it, they are. That place smells disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Speed things up.
Bahamut has a wall scroll. Ifrit only eats ramen noodles. It's bad. So yeah, now when you have to deal with a souped-up Bahamut with Ifrit constantly on your ass, it's really hard. And that's why Aerith has fire linked to elemental in her armor slot, because that means if Ifrit ever tries to punch Aerith, she just gets healed instead. Like, you can see sometimes Ifrit would just walk up to Aerith and like deck her across the skull and she's just fine.
Okay, go on.
And just like in that earlier fight where there was like a bomb and a Tonberry, going after the Tonberry first is a trap. Or rather the other way around. Like, you want to keep wailing on Bahamut
Over for a bit.
and just completely ignore Ifrit even as he punches you a bunch.
Good to go.
So Carbuncle, super useful for this fight. I kind of mistimed the summon here, but it didn't matter in the end. But so, yeah, Carbuncle can put, you know, hit the whole party with Mana Ward, so that Bahamut's magic attacks do half damage. We've also got Planet's Protection from Aerith, so all physical damage does no damage for a while, which means Ifrit doesn't matter at all now. All of his attacks are physical, except for when he breathes fire on you. But if Bahamut manages to use Mega Flare on you and fucks you up real bad, if Carbuncle's still around, his ultimate attack revives the entire party.
Yeah.
Or not the entire party, but as long as you have one person alive, he'll revive the other two.
Helpful little guy.
Yeah. I summoned him a little bit too early, but he still healed me a bunch, which is nice.
Thanks so much for everything.
so kind, so polite.
Very nice.
That really sucked.
Yeah, but then as soon as he's gone, he's like, yeah, that really sucked, huh?
So yeah,
Two-faced, Aerith, you're two-faced.
I wasn't able to stop Bahamut from using Mega Flare, but I just barely in time got Mana Ward on to cut the damage in half, because otherwise this is basically a party wipe.
Man, I trained for this.
You trained to get nuked by a dragon?
Kept you waiting?
Hey, an Avalanche operative has to be prepared for every eventuality.
I guess so, yeah.
This one's for you!
And also, even if Mega Flare had really messed up my party without Mana Ward on, both Tifa and Barrett's weapons have Reprieve on them, so they would have survived with 1 health point at least.
So it's my turn?
Still not the greatest, because then Ifrit could just walk by and punch you in the back of the head and you're dead for real, but it's still possible to recover from that with 1 health. There's one other trick here with Bahamut. Like, if you are using Tifa with the parry materia, it is possible to let your 2 other party members recover and heal and get ATB gauge, because she can slide so fast that Bahamut's aggro will stay locked onto her, and you can just do circles around him while all of his attacks miss.
Think fast! You ready?
All right,
There you
it's time
go.
to get down to business.
Yeah. And yeah, if you survive Mega Flare, at least one person's almost definitely going to have a limit break ready by that point, so...
You asked for it! Go on!
So Ifrit's health is linked to Bahamut, so when he dies, he loses a lot of health.
Damn, yeah, okay.
He was also just caught in the crossfire of a lot of random attacks, so he was taking damage from that too. But yeah, let's scan him just for the heck of it. It's the only place you can fight Ifrit in the game. He gave humans the gift of fire.
How's that going for you, huh?
So yeah, he is weak to ice. He looked real goofy in the original game.
Yeah. I think he might have looked better with smoother horns.
Yeah. And yeah, all the moves he has are just the moves he has when you summon him, so you know what you're getting into there at least.
Your turn.
Guess it's my turn.
That's the way to do it.
And so we're out of summons, so the final enemy is a new guy.
Hey, new guy.
So this is kind of an Easter egg boss here. This is a prototype version of a giant mech you fight in the original game very late into the story.
I'm counting on you.
It had a different name back then. It was called the Proud Clod instead of Pride and Joy.
Maybe this'll help.
So yeah, this is the actual giant mech you fight in the original game. Much bigger than this one. This one's little. And it's also like missing a lot of his extra parts and armor and stuff. It's just like a skeletal version of it. Yeah, weak to lightning. Honestly, this guy much easier than the Bahamut fight from before. This is almost just like a, hey, here's a cool new fight, and it's you can chill out a tiny bit. Like, he's still difficult, but not the same as a Bahamut and Ifrit duo.
Get ready. That'll do.
Yeah, the big thing with Pride and Joy, he has giant fuck-off lasers that can annihilate you. He can gun down Aerith in cold blood.
So can a lot of people. They just choose not to.
Yeah.
Want some more? Give them hell!
Let me handle this.
He's got a move where he essentially just belly flops on you. That's almost definitely an instant KO if you get hit by it. And his other big thing is that once he gets pissed off, loses like half of his health, he will try to grab your party members, and then he'll just hold them in his hand, and they're essentially out of the fight for a while. He'll just carry them around, and he'll keep, like, crushing them with his hand, and when he does that, he, like, absorbs health from them and gets healed. And then once he gets tired of holding a party member, he'll lock onto another party member and just throw them at them, and possibly one-hit KO both of them.
This guy's got a sense of humor. I support this.
Yeah. But it is possible to take him out in a way where he can almost never get any attacks in, and that's when you knock him down, his arms and legs become targets, and every time you destroy one of them, it increases his stagger gauge a bunch. And
Can you take over?
like, even after you blow up the leg, you can go back and blow it up a second time. So if you just keep wailing on him, like the instant he stands up, you can make him fall over again.
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic wrestling story. You just keep working the same joint.
Yep.
There's no escape. Ha! Bring it. That's it. I'll show you what I can do.
So yeah, if you're just able to line everybody's ATB growth just right, you can always get it so that everyone's got like double bars as he's falling over. It feels good. Also, well, I basically, at this point, almost exhausted like all the cool things you can do with every party member. I just learned a new one with Aerith today. So she's got that like Tempest move where she throws down like that magic mine that blows up a couple seconds later.
Yeah.
A lot of her attacks, especially if she's charging up the stronger spells, they kind of have a long animation charge up time, and like if she's shooting the laser, that's like a 5 or 6 second long attack. If you charge up the Tempest Mine and shoot it at an enemy and then use an attack that uses up a lot of your ATB gauge, when those mines start exploding while she's stuck in the long attack animation, her ATB gauge starts going up like crazy. Because every single explosion gives a boost to her gauge.
Right.
And it's just like, whoa. Blew my mind. That's a way to get a lot more ATB with her.
Give them what's coming.
Yeah. Now that Pride and Joy is staggered, we can just do the same thing we did with Shiva, essentially, minus the stopping her. And since this is the last fight, everyone can just go ape shit with their biggest spells.
Night, big guy.
Good night.
Moving on then.
And so yeah, we get an opera as our reward.
Yep. You've completed the ring cycle. Congratulations.
So, in the base original Final Fantasy VII Remake, this was the final fight. With the DLC that we'll be getting into next episode, when you complete that DLC, it actually adds one new, even harder arena fight to this. So we'll be going to that much later on, but I'm excited for that one. That one's pretty fun.
Gotta show off that Aerith tech.
Yep.
Well done, Cloud. You've managed to fully tap into the potential once locked within you. Now that my research is at long last complete, I believe that it's time I told you the truth about myself. I'm not human. I'm a cyborg created to serve as Hojo's assistant. I was given knowledge and power beyond that of a human, but I was robbed of free will, bound to obey the whims of my master. But when we met, Cloud, I sensed something within you. Something I knew would allow me to break free of my chains. By identifying and studying a subject with infinite potential such as yourself, I could adhere to the directives imposed upon me, all the while pursuing my plans for independence in secret. Your combat data provided me with the vital information that I required to enhance my basic functionality. This is the result. Through my research and with your assistance, I have freed myself from Hojo's bondage.
Cool.
I cannot thank you enough for your help. You've given me the power to finally live life on my own terms.
So, what are you gonna do now?
I'm not sure. It's all a big, wonderful mystery. It's nice, not knowing something for a change.
I lost my shit when I finally beat that fight for the first time. Then Chadley came in and was like, "Thank you for freeing me. I'm a real boy now." And Cloud is just like, "All right, tight." But
you want to touch my dog?
Yeah. But that does tell me, now that Chadley is free and is a real boy, that he'll probably be traveling the world and we'll get to see him in later games.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
You've got to.
It's got to be.
A pleasure to see you again, Cloud. How can I be of service?
My journey of self-discovery will happen later. I still have to clock out.
Yeah. So when you back out...
I sense a sudden surge of emotion in my future.
Oh my.
Yeah, he's got two different things to say when you like say goodbye to him.
A pleasure to see you again, Cloud. How can I be of service? Cloud, I do hope you won't forget about me.
That's not how the song goes, Chadley. You need to watch The Breakfast Club again.
But yeah, that ending, like, extra little bit of story, it cracks me the fuck up. It's so funny. Yeah, we got that new reward. This is an accessory that when whoever's wearing it starts every battle immediately with the limit break ready. And even after you use the limit break, the gauge immediately starts charging up again, so you can use another. So if you
use that with the refocus materia.
Yep.
Hell yeah, I figured it out.
It's a good ass reward, and yeah, it's possible to beat that final arena fight before you go through the rest of the hard mode, because like the hard mode version of Sephiroth is honestly it's either the hardest or the second hardest boss fight in hard mode. So going into that with that accessory on makes it not trivial, but definitely a lot easier.